wrong timing. It's just not gonna work out for us. And also it wouldn't be fair to the child either. Like I'm not 100% giving myself to the things that I'm already doing, and I'm not giving 100% to myself right now. So I know that I wouldn't be able to give 100% of myself to the child. And so I just want to make sure that I'm 100%, he's 100%, that we're stable for the child, and that's just not right now.
Hi friends, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It is Friday, August 23rd, 2024, and I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Gypsy Rose Blanchard has found herself in hot water yet again. This time she is going after the livelihoods of individuals that cover Gypsy on social media, content creators, independent reporters, T-channels, and she is issuing false copyright strikes against creators that have provided commentary on various topics related to Gypsy Rose. Multiple content creators have come out, including Conspiracy and Nina, Flawless Nina, the beauty influencer, and Gypsy has issued 2 copyright strikes against Nina and 2 copyright strikes against Conspiracy. Now, on YouTube, you're able to file copyright strikes against someone if you feel like the content being shared is not being shared within fair use. So fair use is a legal doctrine that allows the use of copyrighted material without the copyright owner's permission for certain purposes. They can include criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, or research. However, using copyright material for these purposes is not automatically considered fair use. Instead, there are 4 factors that are considered in determining if it is fair: if it's for the purpose and character of the use, the nature of the copyrighted work, the amount and substantiability of the portion taken, and the effect of the use on the potential market for or the value of the copyrighted work. So, for example, using an entire work may be considered fair use if there's a legitimate need to do so, such as when critiquing an image in a scholarly presentation. Other examples are including or posting a 36 clip of a film online for students to critique, distributing a chapter of a text for class. So fair use allows individuals like me to use clips from shows. It allows me to use clips from other people's channels. It allows me to use other people's work without actually asking them to use it, because under fair use, you're allowed to criticize, comment, report, provide news, provide education, or research. This doesn't mean that people can't then say that you're using my content without any fair use or any commentary or any transformative use. On YouTube, the world of YouTube, if you're not familiar with how this works, there's a unwritten rule. I learned this very much the hard way when I first joined YouTube, that striking someone's channel without any reason and just for using a portion of your video or whatever it is that is your copyright will get you disliked pretty quickly. The only time generally anyone should be using copyright strikes if someone is just re-uploading your content, 100% of your content with no commentary. So if someone takes your video and re-uploads it to their channel, you can do a copyright strike for that. But doing a copyright strike on someone that's using your content for transformative use is not usually appreciated on the YouTube streets. So multiple creators are now getting attacked by Gypsy, and now these creators are talking about a potential lawsuit against Gypsy and reporting her to her parole board. Gypsy Rose Blanchard is in a very precarious situation here, and for whatever reason, she is very dedicated and concerned about her reputation. When Gypsy and I were still speaking, and by the way, I was never a friend of Gypsy's. I was a friend of her stepmother, Christy Blanchard. Her best friend, Brianna Heinz, who is her little commentator that does all of her dirty work for her, likes to tell people that I was never friends with Gypsy, and I never said I was friends with Gypsy. I said I was friends with Christy. Gypsy had sent to me some messages on her Instagram and had let me know that she was bound by parole and couldn't do much. So this was from May. She said, we talked about that in therapy, actually. Nina and Fancy are my current bullies. I mean that as, in first it was my mom. Now I'm up against somebody else trying to fit me into a box that it doesn't fit in, or at least my reputation. Gypsy is obsessed with her reputation. She thinks she has a good reputation. She doesn't like that she has a bad reputation. She doesn't like that she has this conviction. She very much disassociates from it, in my opinion. And I said, yep, I totally get it. And they are using lies and misinformation to do it. You can't win because they change their direction every time they're proven wrong. And in fairness, whether it's Fancy or Nina, what I've said previously, I've apologized to both Fancy and Nina because I was brainwashed. And they said, but what is clear is that they are bigger because I have restrictions that prevent me from defending myself. My parole has me by the balls. I wish I could go on live and just talk about how they lie, but I can't. This is a weird statement by Gypsy because she says she can't go online and defend herself. It's just very weird for her to care what a content creator has to say about her, especially content creators that don't have very large platforms. I think why she specifically doesn't like Nina and Fancy is because both of them have information about her that's the truth, and that disproves a lot of her arguments about what happened, about her crime, about her life, about her mother. However, what really concerns me about Gypsy is that anytime someone does something to her that she doesn't like, she automatically compares them to her victim, her mother. I know it could be said in jest. I know it could be say like, I'm recovering from trauma with my mom. But if you're going to compare someone to the victim that you unalived, that could be considered a threat. And I don't think a lot of content creators are going to like that. I'm pretty sure Nina and Fancy are not going to appreciate that. In fact, I was just on a live stream over on Conspiracy's TikTok, and Nina was on there, and she mentioned that she actually reported Gypsy to her parole board about the fact that she's striking channels, that she's attacking creators. She provided screenshots to them of the behavior that Gypsy is doing online because Gypsy is feeding information to her friend Bree, and then Bree is posting content for her. In fact, Bree sent me a text message in July, and she said, I mean, yeah, Gypsy sends me things to put out, but she doesn't tell me what to make content about, is what I mean. Bree has admitted that she posts stuff for Gypsy because Gypsy sends her stuff, okay? And then she also has told me in text message as well that she will not stop going after Nina until Nina is done, like has no platform. She is going to attack Nina relentlessly until she falls on her face. That's what Bree told me. She said, Nina's been telling people to mass report me, and they did until it worked. And I said, oh, that's horrible. And she said, Nina is dumb as rocks. And I said, she is horrible. I'm very sorry about this, Nina. And I said, she's the one who spread the rumor about November. Of course she did. Gypsy hates Christy. It's so weird. I think she spread a rumor about Gypsy and Christy not getting along. But they don't get along, so Nina wasn't lying. And she said, I'm going after Nina, and I won't stop until she falls on her face. I have other content creators on board. She has gone too far. So Bree, who tells me that she's doing this for Gypsy, then says she's going to go after Nina until she falls on her face. That's another threat. It's just very strange to me that Gypsy, while she's on parole, would embed herself with a person that Bree seems to be very unhinged herself, and I don't know if she is mentally stable or not, but Bree spends hours upon hours upon hours of her day literally on TikTok and on her social media defending Gypsy by trying to debunk anybody that speaks about her. It's very weird, honestly. If you care about a friend, I would think the last thing that you would want to do is put yourself in harm's way of a potential lawsuit or fighting other people's battles. I know specifically for me, one of the reasons why I backed away is because I wasn't fighting battles for them. I wasn't going to fight other creators for them. I didn't want to get into fights with other content creators for them. I wasn't going to fight with Fancy. I didn't want to fight with Nina. I didn't want to fight with anyone because that's not how I run my platform. But that's what Gypsy and Christy want. They want people, other content creators, to fight for them. Gypsy says she's doing it because of parole, which I can't really comprehend why she needs someone else to respond to things because of Parole. I think it's because she doesn't want to look like she's the one doing it. I think she wants to have this image that she's unbothered, untouchable, and above it. That's my opinion. And that she's using someone else to do it so that she doesn't take the hit for going after someone else. Yes, your Parole is watching you, but at the same time, you can have a dialogue about someone and criticize them without actually calling them names. You can do it without threatening someone. You can do it without filing false copyright strikes against people, trying to deplatform people. In the case of creators wanting to push back on Gypsy, they have valid reasons to want her deplatformed. This is a woman that is convicted of a crime where everything of the crime was orchestrated through social media. Gypsy met Nicholas Godejohn, on a Christian dating website, social media. She and Nick plotted the demise of Dee Dee through Facebook and through, I think, Yahoo Messenger or Yahoo apps and the phone. They were using Facebook pages and talking on Facebook to get this started, to get this all coordinated, and then via text message. She was posting messages to her co-defendant. So people have concern that if she used the internet before to plot something, what is preventing her today from plotting something? And Gypsy wants to be an influencer, and her social media says she's an influencer. Naturally, people that have children and are concerned about their children being influenced by a woman who's a pathological liar and someone who unalived their mother, they don't want her influencing anyone. She has a conviction for a violent action. She is not reformed. And if you were reformed, she wouldn't be spending time online worrying about what other people say about you and her. Part of being a public figure is that people get to speak about you, whether you like it or not, and you have to just let it go. That is something I've had to learn, even in my small, limited world of being a smaller public figure. You have to just not respond to things and ignore what people say and not address every rumor. One of the problems is if you start addressing every single rumor, then every rumor you address gives that person who spreads the word rumor the attention that they want. If someone wants to interfere in your life and become and harass you as a public figure, if you address that publicly, you're just giving them the attention that they want. And then that sets an example to other people. Well, hey, if I do that to Katie, maybe she'll say my name. I tried to explain that to Gypsy, and she didn't really understand, and she didn't seem to care. And I kept saying, don't say Nina's name. Just don't. It's not going to help you. It's only going to help her. And it has. It's actually helped Nina's platforms grow, and people are learning more about the truth about Gypsy. So Nina says that she contacted the parole board in the state of Missouri and provided with them screenshots of different things that Gypsy has said about her. She has provided audio clips of things that Gypsy has said about her, the evidence of the false copyright strikes, and the fact that she has a friend saying that she's not going to stop until Nita falls on her face. That's coming from someone who's a convicted schmurderer. Someone else reported her back in January because she told a woman to come to her, say it to her face, which is a threat. Gypsy doesn't know how to conduct herself, and she doesn't know how to act socially. And so I don't think she has the capacity to even have a conversation or a dialogue with someone without threatening them. I think she lives in the world of you either are doing what I say and believe everything I say and you don't fight back, or if you don't do what I want, I'm going to threaten you. Or if you say something about me that I don't like, I'm going to threaten you. And you can't, in the world of being a public figure and a quote unquote influencer, behave like that. I don't know that it's actually going to be a violation of Gypsy's parole. She has no stipulations on her parole that she can't use social media. There's no laws currently that prohibit someone that has a felony related to unaliving from having a Facebook, social media, TikTok, or any of them, right? She can be on all platforms. The only kinds of people that are generally not allowed on platforms are those that are people that do things to children. Gypsy has been given a second chance, but she's also on parole, and she has a very hot temper, and she has a very short fuse, and it seems very ridiculous given the platform she has. This woman came out of prison and was given a reality television show, a book, and given so many free things, free clothes, free shoes, free teeth, free nose, whatever it was. Everyone throwing opportunities at her after literally being in prison for unaliving someone. Opportunities that most people will never be offered. And she has a platform with millions of followers, and yet she is fixated on people that have a fraction of what she has, because they don't run the narrative that she wants, which is that she's a good person, and she's just not a good person. Good people don't spend their time attacking creators. They don't spend their time harassing people. They don't spend their time threatening people. That's what Gypsy's doing. But she's doing it all behind the scenes through her friend Bree. It's just very disturbing. So when you have a bunch of creators that have been relatively fair, Conspiracy, who is one of the creators that she's been hit with all these different strikes, is a very neutral person. She doesn't take a position either way. She doesn't attack Gypsy. She just reports what Gypsy says and then provides her insight. She doesn't really go below the belt. Nina gets information that other people don't get, and I think Gypsy doesn't like that. Nina will go tit for tat for her, but it still doesn't matter. Nina is not on parole. Nina doesn't have a conviction for a felony for unaliving someone. She doesn't have a history like Gypsy. Gypsy needs to either develop a thicker skin or get off of social media. Trying to take people's livelihoods from them is only going to end up with her getting sued or her getting in trouble with her parole officer. I believe she's walking a very fine line right now. Gypsy has not gone live on her TikTok in over a week. This is a girl that couldn't stay off of her TikToks and her lives. She's posting her PR-related content that her attorney, former defense attorney Mike Stanfield, put together. But behind the scenes, she has a parole officer, Amanda Moore, requesting documents for her. Certified copies. Police have been to her house a lot. In fact, I spoke to LaForce Sheriff's Office, and I found out there are more than 39 pages of reports connected to calls to either Gypsy, Christy, or Rod Blanchard since June. There are issues going on here. There are problems happening. And Gypsy is trying her hardest to pretend like everything is fine, when in fact it's not. Nina said that when she sent an email today to the parole board, she got a response from them in 14 minutes because the concerns she had expressed to them were so significant, they were worried. Gypsy has no stipulations preventing her from being on social media, but social media has been the #1 contributing factor to all of her problems. If she was smart, Gypsy would get off social media. She would take care of her mental health. She would prepare for this baby and not worry about what anyone said about her online. If she actually cared about doing what was right, she wouldn't be online harassing other creators. Nina is threatening a lawsuit against Gypsy because Gypsy is trying to take down Nina's platform, and she's harassing Nina to the point that she's trying to get Nina fired from her jobs. She's been doxing Nina's background and her records. Gypsy's idea of debunking people is by clapping back with their information. So if she's mad at a creator like me, she'll say, well, you've been sued 1,000,000 times. Or with Nina, she'll bring up something personal about her children. Or with Fancy, she'll bring up old convictions that were misdemeanors and tell everyone that she's a felon when she's not. She hits below the belt. Even last night, Bree was live over on her TikTok, and she was going after me. And Christy and Gypsy were in the comments talking about my son, who has nothing to do with any of this. Christy and Gypsy are also telling everyone that I'm a liar, that they blocked me, that I'm only doing this because I'm mad. No, that's not the truth. I'm doing this because what you're doing is wrong. You're acting and behaving in a criminal fashion, and Gypsy is on parole. I've also been asked numerous times about this birth and can the parole board get involved with the baby. It is not a violation of her parole to have a pregnancy. However, Gypsy has a conviction for unaliving a family member. Familicide. Matricide. She killed her mom. When you've already gone to the lengths of hurting someone in your own family, and it was a crime that was violent, even if you didn't do the act, but you orchestrated the whole thing by planning it and giving the person who did it the weapon, there's concern that this child might not be safe. she's still the property of the state of Missouri until she actually finishes her sentence. She will give birth to this child while she's on parole. She won't be free as a parolee. Any judge at any time can get involved with this woman, and they will be watching her because Gypsy has a history of malingering. She has a history of exaggerating abuse. She has a history of violent outbursts. She has a history of orchestrating murder. There is great fear for a lot of people that she will hurt her child and repeat what her mother did and repeat the patterns of her life. And here, you don't have to like my opinion and say it's a reach, but it's the facts. CPS needs to be able to prove abuse or neglect, or they also need to prove fitness. Are you fit to be a parent? Can Gypsy actually take care of a child? I have a feeling she can't. And I fear for this baby because it doesn't deserve to be raised by a woman like Gypsy Blanchard. That child should not be exploited. That child should not be on, even her pregnancy should not be exploited. Nothing about this child, none of it's fair to her, that child. That child didn't ask to be born to Gypsy and certainly associated to the crime that Gypsy committed, but will forever be attached to that crime, and their childhood will forever be impacted by Gypsy's choices. Someone in my comments actually said something to me, and they said, Gypsy doesn't even realize that her choices are going to impact that child negatively in a way that other parents will not allow their children to play with her child because of Gypsy's crime. Other people will not allow their children to associate with Gypsy's child because of that. It will impact their reputation. It will impact their ability to have a normal childhood. She wanted a normal childhood for her. She wanted her own normal childhood, and now she's going to deprive another child she's bringing into this world. When I showed you in the very beginning of this video, she said she wasn't ready to be a mother. How is it that she was not ready to be a mother in February, but suddenly by May she was ready to be a mother? The truth is she's not. She's not ready. She'll never be ready. Gypsy, frankly, is lucky she hasn't been sent back to prison. And if she even gives birth to this child outside of prison, I will be shocked because she's got people coming for her that have receipts and that are demanding the parole board finally send her back to prison. All right, y'all, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed and click the bell so you never miss a video. Bye, everyone.